Okay, so this is a typical question from the Math P023 course about scale of a map. This is a diagram of a park. We have the football field, the baseball field, pool, and we only have one dimension given. 105 meters is the width of the football field. But the question is asking us first, A, give the scale, and B, what are the length and the width of the pool? So we can answer all of these questions with the information given. Sometimes a map gives you a scale, and you measure the scale that they give on the map, and it helps you to create the ratio of similarity between the map and the real life situation, which you will then use. This type of question that I have as an example here doesn't hand you the scale, it just tells you one of the dimensions. So you have to measure that with your ruler. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the width of the football field, and I see it's 28 centimeters. So that means 28 centimeters on the diagram represents 105 meters in real life. Now, this is not a very simplified scale, but it doesn't have to be simplified to work. To answer B, we're going to use this scale in a proportion, and we're going to do it twice because they ask for the length and the width. So we'll calculate each. I'll draw the proportion first. I can put 28 over 105. So when you're doing a ratio, you can express it this way, but it can also be expressed this way so it looks like a fraction. And then you put equals, and you put another fraction on the other side. We call this ruler over real, because I measured the 28 centimeters with the ruler. So the ruler's on top. And what we want to do is consistently, if we put the ruler on top on this side, we want the ruler on top on the other side. So when I do the length of the pool, I measure it and I get 11 centimeters. That's ruler, it goes on the top. And then x goes here. We cross multiply to solve this. We have 28x equals 11 times 105. So cross multiplication, top times bottom goes here, then we put an equals, bottom times top goes there. And it turns an equation which has two fractions into a single line that doesn't have any fractions, and that's easier to solve. The next thing to do is multiply the 11 and the 105. And it gives 1,155. We divide both sides by 28. That cancels, our x is isolated, and it's equal to 1155 divided by 28, which is 41.25. That means that the pool is 41.25 meters long. It's actually a pretty big pool. And we need to apply the unit of measure. In our ruler over real, we had centimeters over meters. So therefore, in our answer, we have centimeters over meters. X was on the bottom, x is meters. That helps us find the right unit of measure to apply. We do the same thing over again to find the width of the pool. We're doing 28 over 105 equals, and we measure the width of the pool. It's 8 centimeters. X goes in the last remaining spot. Ruler over real, cross multiplying. 28x equals 8 times 105, which is 840. We divide both sides by 28. X is isolated, and 840 divided by 28 is 30. Again, it was centimeters over meters. This is on the bottom, it's meters, so our unit of measure is in meters. I'll do another example later where I do the same sort of question, but instead of giving a dimension to figure out the scale, I'll give one of those little, scale, what to call it, scale indicators, let's say, where they put a line and they say 1 meter. It's very similar to this, but it tends to give a more simplified scale, so you have a 1 involved in the scale instead of having this weird fraction. That's pretty much it. That's how we use, excuse me, that's how we use the diagram to figure out a scale and then use the scale to calculate missing measurements. There are shortcuts involved. A student can look in this and realize that, well, all I'm doing is I'm taking the 11 that I measured, I'm multiplying it by the 105 they gave me, and then I'm dividing it by the 28 which I measured. It's really the same thing. It's just, this is better because it shows all the steps. It gives you a process to follow. And that way, if you're in a question that's more confusing than this, you just try to follow your process and you can work your way through it.